What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Strain Forward podcast. I am back in my home studio that is a green screen because my room is a mess. And I'm also on my cell phone because I left my computer at a friend's house a few states away. So that was awesome. Today's guest, Mr. Josh Friedman, you've probably seen him on Instagram. He's an excellent fitness coach, and I really mean that. He does a phenomenal job with people, getting them in shape, transforming their body, their mindset. He's got a really cool story. We met recently, a few months ago, at a really cool little thing that we can't really talk about yet because it hasn't been released.
Side
Yeah,
quest.
we we have to speak in code about it. No, but I'm gonna let him tell you guys his story, and then I'm gonna ask him some questions. And my hope is that you guys get a lot out of it. So, dude, Josh, let's why don't you take us back to the beginning, man? Take us back to the early days of Josh Friedman and the wild animal you were, and how you found fitness, dude, and why you're so obsessed with it now.
Oh, 100%, Kyle. Appreciate you for having me on. Last time I saw you, we were in Paris on the side quest that we can't really talk about yet. But by the way, guys, stay tuned for all of that whole story coming to fruition.
Oh,
I think it's important just to, kind of give you guys a little more lay of the land in terms of what I'm up to now. Online fitness nutrition coach. I call myself more a transformation coach because it's so much deeper than just eating the right food and doing the right workouts and looking a certain way. It goes much deeper on a soul, a transformative, and energy and identity level. Really, creating and helping people create that truest form for themselves. But yeah, I live out here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've been full time with the online coaching since 2022, so this will be year 4 in the space, and yeah, I'm very proud of the fact that I've been able to chase my passion and find my purpose through helping others and make it a living. But to take you all the way back, I found the gym when I was 15 years old. My parents were going through a messy divorce and I was getting bullied a little bit. I've always been a little heavier set, never been the lean, skinny guy. And so I started getting bullied a little bit, being called man boobies and like chubby boy, things like that. And I was just like, I didn't like it. I was just like, like this isn't it. That combined with my parents going through a divorce and just, I was 15 years old. I was figuring myself out as a young teenager. One day I stumbled into my dad's apartment complex gym, and I remember just being so full of rage and anger that I didn't really understand where it was coming from. But I just started lifting these weights because I'd seen people do it before, and I just got my first pump. My virginity was taken from the weights, and I was like, "Whoa." I remember it to this day. Like, that was dope. Like, this is cool. I feel really good, right? Like, and so anyway, I kept going down there. I kept working out, and I fell in love with the gym. The gym was my first true love. And I started seeing my body change, and I started, researching more about, okay, protein and what carbs, fats, what they do. And so that was my initial taste into the gym. And within 2, 3 years, sophomore year of high school, man, I was unrecognizable. I had a solid base of muscle. I was lean. I, was good looking. I was getting attention from the ladies. I was like, damn,
oh,
like this is cool, right? Like, okay, like this is power. This is respect. This is purpose. This is identity. I didn't really, know all of that at the time. I was just kind of like, yeah, like I like to carry around a gallon jug and wear a little wife beater and go into the gym and clank some weights around listening to Tech Nine. But but yeah, so anyway, like I've been lifting weights since high school and I was in good shape all the way through high school. Like going into college, I went to Chico State up in Northern California,
yeah.
and going into school, I was in great shape, man. I really was. I was a phenomenal athlete. And then I went into that school with just a lot of energy. Like I've always had a lot of energy. Everything I've done it 110%.
Mm-hmm.
And that pertains to drinking, to partying, to, doing drugs back in high school or college, not high school. I was pretty straight and narrow in high school, started drinking a little bit, but anyway, first taste of like full freedom in college, no parents, no one
Yeah,
telling you what to do.
yeah.
I joined a fraternity within freshman year, and I was in great shape, had a lot of energy, like I said, a lot of confidence from how it built my body. And I just professional partier for 4.5 years for sure. Like that was
You
it
just
was so fun to me just to get blacked out drunk and I'm
Really
not
wild.
proud to say it, but yeah, dude, like drugs too, right? Like I used to love cocaine for sure. That was bread and butter, that with the booze. So anyway, yeah, man, like I lost my identity a little bit through it within that. Like, I definitely lost myself slightly towards the end of college, started getting soft around the edges. I was not that lean, chiseled individual that came into college by the time I left college. I was still lifting. The gym has always been something that has been there, right? Like I'd still go to the gym and eat clean, but the alcohol and all of that on the weekends, or not even just the weekends, I was drinking like 3, 4 days a week.
Mm.
Um, Definitely catches up to you. Like
Yeah.
you're going to gain some weight.
Yeah. What what do you feel like what do you feel like was the catalyst for kind of falling off the wagon? Just the taste of freedom, just enjoying it a little too much and maybe not having the prerequisite discipline, or like what was it for you that was so like I like this and I want to do this and not really focus on my fitness?
Well, it wasn't that I wasn't focused on my fitness. I just wasn't focused on it as much, right? Like it wasn't the main thing anymore. I
Yeah.
was having so much fun being crazy, right? Like I said, my identity kind of shifted from athlete, in kind of high school, I guess you could say like a jock, right? To like, oh, I'm a party animal, right? And it's this culture
Mm.
at Chico specifically, but a lot of colleges where it's like, how hard can you party? How much can you drink, right? Like, how many days can you go, right? And like, I was crazy, man. Like, I've always had so much energy, so I got so into it. I got sucked into that identity of being the crazy motherfucker that would kill a fifth in a night, was the life of the party, would back up my friends, would say all types of crazy stuff. Like when you're blacked out drunk, you're not really in control. And so
Mm.
people thought it was hilarious. They either hated me or loved me in college. And I guess people still either hate me or love me. But most people I feel like love me more than they hate me. Although I am a little controversial, I just don't shy away from sharing my opinion. And
I
and man,
love
I
that
kind of
though.
lost my identity, right? Like I found a different one that wasn't serving me, right? And I carried that one that wasn't serving me, that I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna drink a bunch. I don't even care. I'll do drugs and I'll be fine. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm fine. And I carried that energy through college into post grad, down when I moved to Los Angeles and Santa Monica, where I got a sales job out of school, and it fell right into that post grad kind of same mentality of like living for the weekend, getting drunk, still, doing drugs and just not really having any purpose of betterment in the world. Like I wasn't doing anything but sucking energy from the world, right? I wasn't contributing any good to the world still. I always guess I was working a job that was helping some people, but for the most part I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. And then I was living for the weekend, blowing all my money in LA, drinking and hanging out with people that were really not good influences at all. And so um yeah, it was a
What do you
turning
feel
point.
like? Yeah, what do you feel like? I mean, going through that time, and I've seen your story on Instagram. Like I've seen you make your posts, talking about that this transformation you're sort of walking through right now. And so I kind of already know the answer, but I want the audience to hear it. For those who don't know, it's like, what was what sort of pulled you out of that, right? Because I mean, you already kind of alluded to it. This feeling of like not having purpose, this feeling of not contributing to the world, this feeling of you're just sort of taking, not giving. But what was it in that time period that was like, what clicked? And you were like, man, I want to do something different. Like I want to actually dial this in. What's up, you guys? Quick interruption to the video. If you've ever found yourself wondering what supplements, what products to use, trying to do a ton of research on this, that, and the other, and you just find yourself overwhelmed, I want to help you cut through the BS. Go through the links in my description of this YouTube video and all my other YouTube videos. These are all the products that I use and trust and have done podcasts with the owners of these companies, because I understand how hard it is to understand what to use, when to use it, how to use it, the whole thing. So if you go to the description in this video, you're going to see a list of a bunch of different things, from red light therapy, organ meats, organ meat seasoning, water filters, air filters, whatever. If anything in there piques your interest, click on that link, go to their website, and at least check it out. And if you find yourself wanting to purchase it, use my code, save yourself some money, support these great companies, support your boy so I can keep making some great content for you guys. I just wanted to interrupt the video to let you know that I've really tried to provide value to you guys, not only with the content, but also with what products, what supplements, what things to use to better yourself. So anyways, go check that out. Keep moving forward. Love you guys. Back to the video.
So it was a handful of things. I've always had this burning desire in my stomach, in my gut, in my heart, that I was meant for more, that I'm not like everybody else, that I think a little different, that I always try to figure out how to get my way. Like I've never listened to the rules. I've never listened to society's rules, the teacher's rules. If there's one way to do something, I'm trying to figure out how to do it more efficiently and figure out how to do it my own way. I've always been like that. So I've never been meant to just like listen to somebody and do a job. I've always been meant to create my own rules to life. And so I just realized, man, like with my corporate job, that I hated being a pawn. I hated not really doing something I was passionate about. I looked in the mirror and I saw a version of myself that I was becoming that I was not proud of. I was getting soft, I was living for the weekend. I was having, quick sex, womanizing women, and just being a player, like having no morals or values around, my dating life. And I was just like, man, I'm becoming this really grungy version of myself that I'm really not proud of being anymore. I used to think it was cool to be able to party and pull the chick and, have the one night stand and be like that guy. But I realized like that's not cool. That's not who I was deep down. So I had this awakening of like when I was 24, 25, around like, all right, my actions and how I'm, how my energy in the world, what I'm really doing is not in alignment with my greater good with myself. Like I, started realizing this is not who I want to become, because I was, burnt out on energy, right? Like I'm drinking alcohol, I'm hanging out with people with bad energy, I'm not being able to save any money. So like my bank account's not looking good. And I'm just like, this isn't it. There's got to be something more. And I also got into this super sticky scenario with this guy that I was hanging out with in his group, where late night, bunch of girls over, and he was flexing his $40,000 watch in front of everybody, and then I was the last one to leave at 4 a.m. and he caught me on the monitors like hustling out because I had to catch a flight in at LAX to get. I was traveling somewhere, and anyway, the watch ended up being gone in the morning, and he's on the camera saw that I was like hustling out, and I was the last one, and he didn't know me that well. He'd only known me for 6 months, and he was a sketchier dude. He's caught up in some things, living a different lifestyle. What much more, I guess, fast lifestyle than me at the time. And anyway, I got pinned for the one to steal the watch, and I was getting harassed by his posse and all these people that were knocking on my door, threats about my family, all this stuff. It was, a terrible 2 weeks of my life. And
Yeah.
anyway, during that time, that was when all this kind of started transpiring. This was, around the time when COVID started to happen and a little bit before. And so anyway, it's just like the perfect storm of like, I got to, distance myself from people that aren't serving me. I got to change who I hang out with, what my actions are. And then COVID came around, man, and it was the perfect opportunity for me to go sober and to not drink anymore, and be like, you know what I want to do? I want to get in phenomenal shape again. And my whole thing was like, okay, I got to get back in really good shape. Like I still had muscle, but I like, take my shirt off, got a little chub around the edges, not very impressive, right? Like it wasn't the highest version of myself. So I was like, this is the first order. I got to get back in really good shape. And I got to stop drinking, because all my problems were linked to drinking alcohol and nights where I started drinking alcohol, right? And so, yeah, like that process, right around COVID, no gym, but I was like hitting the park. I was just running. I was doing calisthenics. I found this gym that I was traveling to and getting into early in the morning. So anyway, that's really what sparked the transformation, and it was really a spiritual awakening within me.
Yeah.
Right? That's spiritual awakening is just categorized as an awakening within your spirit, right? Within your soul, where like, whoa, we're changing. Things are definitely changing. And
Yeah, on that topic, because, and this is what I find interesting about your story, and really about anybody who goes through something similar to you, right? They make a radical change, right? They're going a direction and then they shift and they never look back. What's interesting is that that doesn't always happen for everyone who wants to make a change.
No.
That's what's so fascinating. It's like, and I'm curious your thoughts on this, because this is what happened to me specifically. This was 2 years ago when I started on social media. I had heard this quote in I was going to recovery, like I was going to a recovery meeting for sexual addiction. So I was going to these meetings, and what I learned was that a lot of people, they don't change, right? Specifically addicts, they don't change until the pain of change is less than the pain of staying in their current circumstances, right? So continuing on the path you're on would hurt worse than the pain of whatever the changes you need to make, right? Until those switch, that's usually the point that people actually make a change. It's not until that time. And so I'm curious, dude, like, maybe you ever put words to it or like kind of had that sort of thought, but do you feel like that resonates where it's like you realize, like, if I stay this way, I'm literally going to hate myself in my life, and that hurts worse than getting back to where I was.
That was definitely a factor. I looked in the mirror and I envisioned myself 10 years from now, 33 years old, big old belly, eating a burrito, drinking a beer, watching
Yeah.
porn, right? And I've had some role models that have embodied some of that, which I don't want to be like. And so that was part of it. Is like, I'm not going to be like that. Like, I'm so much better. I'm built for more. But it was also the books I started reading and the things I started consuming around personal development and growth and about your hero's journey, right? I figured out what a
Mm.
hero's journey was as a man. And I started, okay, so this happens with guys around, sometimes 23 to 25, women too. And in general, just like people are kind of faced, all right, like, am I going to grow up and decide to conquer this world, be the best version of myself through healthy habits, through, all these things, or am I going to decide to just like settle for average and not really care about my health, not care about my habits, not care about, my bank account and my career and my passions and all that. And so I just realized, I was just like, now is the time. And I've always been a very like, so a lot of my motivation has been driven from pain from anger from discipline, discipline to identity, right? And so
Mhm.
at the time, I was still operating from a place of pain and anger, of me always, having the chip on my shoulder, people saying, "Oh, I'm just the dumb one." By the way, I was called stupid all the time growing up, and in college, it was like, "Oh, he's an idiot. Like, he's not going to amount to anything. That guy's crazy," right? And so I know I had this perceived reality that some people thought of me as this like crazy motherfucker who, is not respectful, is not going to be successful in the world. And I just knew, I'm like, oh, this is it. Like, so I had kind of went on this hero's journey of where I got this chip on my shoulder, proving it to the world. I already knew I was great inside. I've always thought I was the man. While sometimes my habits and my actions made me think double that and be like, you're a fucking piece of shit. But
Yeah, yeah,
for the most part, I've had this confidence that I can do it, and so I got really into the hero's journey of my arc, right? My comeback,
yeah,
my time where I get to build skills, I get to go through the gutter essentially, I get to fail. I remember getting fired from my corporate job in 2020 and being on food stamps, unemployed,
yeah,
and for 6 months interviewing for jobs. And this is the time I was already in great shape. This was the second half of 2020. I had gotten let go from the sales job, and it was a tough time to find jobs. And so I was on all these good interviews because I had a good job where I was able to get the interview, but I kept getting told no, right?
yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, no. But for some reason, I loved it. Every no that they told me gave me more motivation because I've always been a little crazy, and I've always been like, I realized I was
I
like,
love it.
this is my hero's journey. I'm getting knocked down. I'm in the gutter. I'm on food stamps. I was like, get my food stamps card out. Like, I got to go run. I was like, free money. I'm like, this won't last long. So I always knew I was gonna be fine. But like, and I knock on wood, I never want to go back to that. But sometimes the feeling of having nothing to lose is a powerful feeling. Like when you're at rock bottom, like I had nothing to lose, right? I had no job. I had nothing on the line. I had no girlfriend. There really wasn't much that I could lose. I was already at rock bottom, had a couple, like $1,000 to my name, if that. And so I had nothing to lose. I was like, I'm going to read as many books. I'm going to run. I'm going to lift. I'm going to get in phenomenal shape. I'm going to talk to as many people as I can. I've always been very social. So everywhere I go, I make friends. That's always been something I do, where I just talk to strangers in the store, on the street. I just talk to everybody. It's the Italian in me. My grandpa was the same. I learned it from him. He would, everywhere he'd go, he'd pass out a water bottle and a granola bar to a kid or to a homeless person, and he just like talked to everyone. So it was like, my example growing up. But
That's cool.
and then it's just more of like, I realized this was like my time to become a man, and every no was like, you're becoming more of a man. You're not drinking alcohol. And I felt so good, right? Like, I think we can all relate to this. People that, start getting into the gym and your energy increases and you're feeling the endorphins, you're in great shape, you're young. I mean, we're still young, but like I was 23, right? 24. And I was just like, oh, I feel so good. Like you just feel good when you have your health, when you're in good health and you have good energy, you're sleeping, you're not drinking, you're eating basic food. I couldn't afford much. I was just eating like beef and chicken and rice and some vegetables. So anyway, I felt so good and I had so much energy. And so I loved that. Like, I was like, this is it. Like, screw being hungover. Like, I feel good. I'm high off life.
Yeah. Yeah. Will you walk people through, if you can off the top of your head, the actual hero's journey? Like, what is, because I don't think a lot of people understand what that is. Like, we know it intuitively. Like, if we watch a movie, we'd be like, yeah, that's the hero's journey. But there is actually like a step by step, like, this is how it goes. I think it's so fascinating.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And like, I always remind clients of this too, about when they're facing adversity or struggle. I'm like, this, you watch Superman, you watch, Batman. This is just a part of the movie where you're getting kicked, where you're down. But there'll be, another part of the journey. So the hero's journey it starts out with the ordinary world, right? The call to adventure, the refusal of the call, right? So I'll take it back. I just looked this up real quick so you guys can get an exact definition. The ordinary world, the hero starts in their normal life, comfortable but unfulfilled. Something deep inside knows there's more, right?
Yeah.
2, the call to adventure. A challenge or opportunity appears. A wake-up call to grow, leave comfort, or face a fear, right? This is like the wake-up call, me getting fired, rock bottom, the runs in with the law, with getting in trouble with people and getting blamed for things, with crime, things like that, right? The doubt, right? The refusal of the call, the doubt, fear, or excuse to show up. The hero resists change. I'm not ready. What if I fail? Now, honestly, this is where a lot of people stop, right? Like, what if I fail? I'm not ready. It's not the right time. I ran through this one because I was in so much pain. I think, like you said, the pain of the reality outweighed like the possibility for more. So I was just like so fed up, and I was just like, this ain't it. Like, I can't do this. I rolled through that one, but I don't know. What do you think? I know you're a coach as well, Kyle, and you worked with a lot of people. Refusal of the call, right? Doubt, fear. How do you help people get through step number 3 in the hero's journey?
Man, that's a good question. I'd like to say that I have the perfect thing to say to people, but I don't know that I've found it. I think I've had a lot of really great conversations with people that I see the light bulb click. Like, I see it switch over in their head, and they're like, huh, you're right. But they still don't do it. And I think that's the case for a lot of people until they get to where you were, where they're fed up. Yeah. Like I don't know. I guess I'd be curious your thoughts on this, because I don't know that there is like an external thing that someone can say or do at one point in time that just like, this is it. I think it's a culmination. I think it ends up being like a lot of things. And then maybe someone says something at the right time when they are in the most amount of pain, and it does hit, and it is like, yes, let's go. But man, a lot of conversations I have with people, they're just like, Yeah, I've seen myself fail before, and I'm afraid, and I don't want to do it, or yada
Mhm.
yada, whatever. But they know the wheels are turning.
Yeah, for sure. Well, really what all this is, and this is totally natural. I think the best way to put this is normal. Everybody feels the fear. They don't want to change. And all that is your current self, your ego, right? Your ego is just like how you perceive yourself. And your ego likes comfort. It likes predictability. That's why you see people stay in abusive relationships because it's all the ego knows. It's all the self knows, even though they hate it, even though it's chaos. So all this is, and this is going to happen in any part of any journey. There's going to be fear. There's going to be doubt. There's going to be like, no, stay here. And it actually is going to happen once you make the decision to go all in. So it's going to happen when you're almost through the threshold, when you're almost there, when you invest in the program, you pay for the coach, right? That's when the ego gets the loudest. And so it's trying to keep you stuck, keep you what's comfortable, what's normal, right? Think about it. It's never gone on the path that you're trying to take it on. And so subconsciously, it's so much easier just to stay where we're at than to face the unknown and go all into the possibility, the fear. So what you should do if you're on the other side of this and you've come up against this is like just act. Messy action. Like this is a normal part of the hero's journey of making a decision and having success. So the faster you can just do it, like heard that kind, do it scared, do it alone, do it like just do it, right? Even if you're uncomfortable, because with some reps it'll quickly get through stage 3, and then your ego will become comfortable. It will feel a little safer. It'll be like, oh, we're all right. Um,
Yeah,
does that?
one thing I've tried with clients before, or with one thing I've said to potential clients before, and I heard this from someone else, was I reframe them a little bit, right? And this hopefully is helpful for someone listening. It's I compare the fear that they have inside them to moments before they hop on a roller coaster, if they like being on a roller coaster. And what I point out to them is, if you're about to get on a roller coaster, you feel this adrenaline, you feel this excitement, you feel these nerves, but you label it in a positive way. You label it as like, oh, this is going to be so fun. This is going to be awesome. We're going to adrenaline, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You're feeling the same sensations in this moment right now, but you're labeling it as, I'm not capable, as, what if I fail, as, this is going to be hard. And if you switch the labels to, this is opportunity, this is the call to adventure, this is my future self saying, hey, come on, like, we got this. If you label it like that, you can see it with a different perspective. And I find that that's really helpful for people when they realize, oh, I'm just thinking about this a little bit the wrong way.
Right. I mean, going back to being on food stamps, being broke, and just being told no over and over again on interviews, most people wouldn't call that a fun time in their life. I genuinely was like so delusionally positive about the fact that I was sober, I was feeling good, I was in phenomenal shape, I was like shredded to the bone. I'd run out of my house and everyone would be like, "Whoa," I was getting all this. Anyway, I was so positive about like where I was going that none of that mattered, right? Like
Yeah.
that, I still remember that as like some of the most fun times of my life. I didn't even have to work. I wasn't even working, like it was so fun. But um number 4 in the hero's journey is meeting the mentor, right? Someone appears, a coach, a teacher, inner voice who gives, the audience, that gives guidance, tools, or belief to start the journey. So for me, I was really heavy on Tim Grover's books, Relentless, that
Yeah.
book. Dude, that one book, so they say sometimes you don't need to read, 20, 30 books. That one book changed my life. For anyone else out there who's listening to this, definitely read Think and Grow Rich and Relentless. I have other ones too, but I guess I didn't have an exact mentor. I did, like, one of my managers who ended up firing me he did look at me and he's like, you just make excuses. It's always somebody else but yourself. As a man, you have to take all the responsibility and put the team on your back. It doesn't matter what happens. You're either going to be successful or you're going to be a victim. And like, he
Wow.
looked at me dead in the eyes and told me that. And that's when I realized, like, I was full of shit. Like, okay, like, you have to have a victor mentality and it's always your fault. How do I get better? This is no one's fault but myself, and stop being a victim. And so that was huge. I guess that was number 4, meeting the mentor.
Yeah.
Crossing the threshold is number 5. So the hero steps into the unknown. This is where the growth begins. There's no turning back. And that's a fun part because you're like, there's no turning back. And for me, I started posting online. I started
Yeah.
posting myself getting in shape online, sharing what I was up to, like being like, no, I'm not drinking anymore. And I was always posting online. Even when I was drunk, I was like posting all my nights out at the tables and stuff. So that was like crossing the threshold. People started seeing this shift. They started me getting into crazy shape because I had the base. Like I had a bunch of muscle and I have great genetics. So like they were like, whoa, what the hell's going on? And so for me, I'm like, oh, there's no going back. Like everyone's watching now, right? Not the, what, 1,000, 15, 2,000 people were watching, but that's a lot of people.
Yeah. It's
You
not
put
nothing.
so, and then number six, the trials, right? Allies and enemies. They face challenges, temptations, setbacks that test their resolve. So, that part happens. There was definitely lots of moments around that where you have trials, tribulations. It's not always like you're just enjoying it. The
Yeah.
abyss, right? Death and rebirth. So, the hardest moment when everything falls apart, the ego dies, and the hero is forced to rebuild stronger, wiser, and truer. So,
Wow.
that one's deep. You can kind of think about a lot of people haven't gotten there. The abyss. I'm trying to think of when that was.
Man, that actually just hit me between the eyes. We were talking before this. I told you I've been going through some stuff. That is exactly what just happened to me because I've been on my hero's journey where it's like that phase, crash and burn, and you're forced to have to rebuild. Yeah, dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, hey,
What?
you're on step seven, and so you just got 8, 9, 10, right? Transformation. They
We're
rise.
almost there, dude. We're so close.
Almost there. Like the abyss is seven, and then next now it's transformation, right? You need to rise from the struggle with new strength, awareness, and clarity, a higher vision, right? This is where like higher timeline and just overall vision to like what you're trying to become is so important. Number nine, the reward, right? The hero gains what they sought: wisdom, mastery, confidence, freedom, something that changes their world, right? And then 10 is the return. They come back to the ordinary world with their lessons, now able to lead, teach, or inspire others through their journey. So super cool because I did a bodybuilding show in 2021. I decided to do it early part of 2021. I got in great shape by then. I've been 2020, 2021 early. I was like, all right, I want to do a bodybuilding show. So I did a bodybuilding show and I was training people for free, like on the beach, right? I was training people for free on the beach. I actually had a nice little scheme. I was going to Equinox, working 10 hours a week at Equinox, and then I was in great shape and I would talk to everybody and then I would tell them, hey, if you want to do some beach workouts with me and I'll help you with your nutrition, like I'll help you out. We'll do beach workouts and I can help you with your nutrition on the side. And then I was also training some of my friends from college with their nutrition because I had gotten really lean and I was teaching with them their nutrition. But the reward was kind of like, that was like the transformation, right? It started to become clear. I was like, man, like I have this gift. I think I want to become a personal trainer, right? And that's where I got my NASM certified, and like I started training people on the beach and at their houses, like a couple of wealthier clients. But I guess the reward really was like winning, like not winning. I didn't win that bodybuilding show, but doing the bodybuilding show, right? Starting to like get more clarity with my life and had that big win. Like I did a bodybuilding show, right? And that was a really big deal for me. That was in 2021. And then I moved right to Scottsdale, Arizona within a week after the show at the end of 2021. And I had certifications. I had started training people in person, online. I was the walking embodiment of it. I started to build my following. I was inspiring others. And so then I decided to start coaching people online. That's when I launched my first offer online was January 2022.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. I think it's important to maybe discuss this for people listening because I know that your journey because while you are right now you're doing really well, you're having a lot of success. I know that it most likely has not been all rainbows and butterflies and like you've had your own setbacks amidst this journey, kind of like we're talking about already. But
Yeah.
maybe dive into it a little bit and just kind of tell people, even when you were trying to, you made a decision to get in shape, like and clean up your life, and you made a decision to then become a coach in 2022, and you made a decision to keep pursuing it. I'm sure that there were moments along the way where you're like, this is kind of hard, or this kind of sucks, or this isn't what I thought, or whatever. I think it's important for people to hear that so they can manage their own expectations as they
Yeah.
step into the unknown, that there's going to still be lots of challenges as you pursue your highest self, the best version of you.
Right now, last month, I had a handful of challenges come my way. Like there is never going to be a time, especially as an entrepreneur, where you are not faced with challenges, right? New levels, new devils. That's just, we've all heard that line. And
I
so,
like that. I've never heard that actually. New
oh,
levels, new
really?
devils. That
New,
was the first one.
new levels, new devils. It's never going to end. So
Wow.
the problems, the struggles are guaranteed, right? It's how you view them, it's how you're able to handle them. As an entrepreneur, you have to be able to handle a lot of shit and you have to be able to decipher it, continue to see the bigger picture and
Mm.
move through it and figure out what you're going to do next. Now, to answer your question, like you have to find a mission. You have to create purpose around what you're doing. And your purpose, right? Your mission, it has to be way stronger than everything else. Like it doesn't matter. Like it can't be about the money, right? Like I work with people. I also help people grow their business. And I'm like, why do you want to do this? They're like, oh, because I want to make money. And I'm like, okay, well, you should just quit now. You're never going to be good at it. Because if you're doing it for the money, if your reasons aren't aligned with your higher good and your highest self and what you're here to do on this earth, you will never make big impact. You will never be that successful. So
Mm.
to be a successful as an online coach or anything, it's like you have to get so crystal clear on your mission and what you're here to do, like how you're supposed to change people's lives, the catalyst that you're meant to be, your impact that you want to leave on the world. That has to be so clear and so important to you that if you have a bad month or 2 months or 3 months, that doesn't even matter because
Right.
you know, hey, I got a mission. I'm like, God put me on this earth. I genuinely know that God put me here to make other people's lives better through, physical and mental transformation, which starts with, getting in shape. But yeah, man, like you got to have a really strong purpose. And, um, I think that you have to go through the fire to first find that. You got to be at rock bottom. You got to go through the hero's journey. You have to do the self development within yourself, and you have to figure out like really like what I want to do with my life. What do I want to be remembered for? Like what when I die, like what do I want to be remembered for in terms of how I changed the world or what I did with my life, and then figure out what makes you happy and what you're good at, and then figure out okay like how can I get other people good at that and monetize it. That's all it is, right? Like get so good at something that people end up paying you to help them get good at it, right?
Yeah. Have you
But
heard of ikigai?
no, wait, remind me. Is why it sounds so familiar.
Yeah, yeah. You'll notice as soon as I start talking about it. So I learned about it recently. Ikigai. I think it's a Chinese or something like that proverb, but like ikigai essentially means where your passion, right? What you're good at, right? What you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can make money from. All four of those things, when they intersect, that's called your ikigai. Like that's your purpose. When all four of those things come together harmoniously, and a lot of times it's like maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like the financial is the hardest piece to catch up to what you're really good at, what you love, and what the world needs. That's like the final piece to kind of bring it all together. And when it does, you're fine. You're like, this is it. This is what I was made to do. Like it's finally working. Nagging injuries, poor sleep, and wrinkled skin. All three things that I think all of us agree really sucks. But you know what the three things have in common? They benefit from red light therapy. So something that I have been doing recently in my own life has been working with this company, LUME. They sent me this product. If you're just listening, it's just a square or so like a rectangular white box with a bunch of dots on it where the red light comes out of. It has been a huge game changer for me. So especially for me as an athlete, I deal with a lot of nagging injuries. I will put this thing on my elbow, my knee, my back, my neck. I'll put it anywhere that I'm feeling pain, and I'm not kidding you. The reduction in pain I get almost immediately is amazing. But I've healed from tendonitis far quicker than I ever should have healed, especially in my knee. I've had jumpers knee in my knee for a while, and it is like completely gone from red lighting this. So I've been able to get back to squatting and jumping and all the things. It's been awesome. What's really cool about red light therapy though is it has to be a specific nanometer. So there's two types. There's red light and then there's near infrared. Red light, you need to be around that 660 nanometer range, and for near infrared, you need to be around 850 nanometers, and this thing covers both. So if you want to hold it on your skin, like put their little glasses on, hold it on your skin, it's great for collagen production. If you want to put it on your room when you're going to bed, it kind of helps you get into like sleep mode, so it increases the amount of restful sleep you're going to get at night. Or if you just want to put it topically right onto an injury, you're going to increase the healing time. You're going to drastically reduce the time it takes to heal. I don't want to throw out some crazy number percentage, but you're going to speed up the healing recovery time. So it's really cool. Anyways, you can go to the link in the description. You can save yourself $260 if you want to check this out. If you've got anything going on, or you want to sleep better, or if you want to just look prettier, go to the link in the description, save yourself some money, support these guys. They're really, really great. Support your boys, support yourself. Love you guys. Back to the show.
Yeah. No, I love that. I've never heard of that, but I want to start using that. And if you're really doing your highest good in the world and you're super aligned on all levels, you should be making a lot of money, right? Like I believe that if you're really doing what you're meant to do on this earth, like God should be paying you essentially, or like that you should be getting rewarded for all the hard work you're doing. So
do you have a specific exercise?
Mindset is a big thing, because like you got to have a positive mindset around money. And this is something that so many people struggle with, right? Based off of how they were raised, or, just their financial situation currently. Like, people see money in a way of scarcity. And that's where everyone needs to read Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. It starts with how you think about money, how you treat money, how you treat money with others. There's so many little things around a money mindset, and the art even of receivership, right? Being able to receive and give money. So that's a big piece that I've gotten into, just around my money mindset and my ability to be a magnet to money. It sounds a little woo woo, but like, I'm telling you, it's very real. Like what you put out comes back around. So if you keep telling the universe in your meditations and saying, hey, I see money coming to me, I'm a magnet for money, I attract these things, I put out the highest form of value, and I know it's coming back around to me. And if you program your brain to believe that, your money will find you.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Because people are like, oh, it's so woo-woo to manifest and yada yada. Essentially what happens is you program your subconscious, because we operate off of our subconscious, not our conscious mind. Like it's like a huge mass of some, like 70-80% of what we do day to day is like subconsciously programmed. And so if you train your subconscious to think about money like the way you're talking about, think about life a certain way, think positively, think about whatever, you will subconsciously do things and orchestrate your life without even realizing it, in a way that makes those things come to you. So it'll feel like manifesting, but all it is it's your RAS. You know what that is? Your something activated system in your brain. But it's like, if you said, I really want a red car. I've been thinking about a red car. You start seeing red cars. You're like, oh my gosh, red cars are everywhere. That's all it is. Yeah. You're just training your subconscious.
What you focus on expands, period. So that's where it's like so important to become more aware of your thoughts, of your morning routine. What is the first thing you do? Are you just mindlessly scrolling on your phone, being a consumer, letting news and other people dictate what you think of first thing in the day or throughout any of the day? Or are you the alchemist? Are you the creator? Are you waking up with purpose? Are you getting clear on, what am I going to do today? How am I going to impact the world? Some affirmations, getting clear on the day you want to have, getting your energy right, getting your frequency high, right? You got to be in a frequency of love is the highest frequency in terms of emotion, right? Different emotions have different frequency, and people don't realize it, but they sit in emotions throughout the day, whether they're pissed off or they're angry or they're annoyed or, wow, I feel really good. So if you just try to program yourself to always come from a place of service, of love, right? And of not necessarily like you don't know to love everybody like how you think the word love means, but the frequency, the emotion of love is the highest one. And so, you're going to operate it at such a higher frequency when you just come from a place of positivity, from love, right? Not from lack, right? Not from not enoughness. Oh, I'm a victim. The world's out to get me. It's never good enough. I never have enough time. All these things, because that's just going to, you're going to attract more of that. So that's where if you put out really good energy, you operate on that high frequency, things just start happening. And that's what started happening to me. I started realizing, man, if I stay really positive and I talk to as many people as I can, I don't let things bog me down, like good things will come to me. And sure enough, they did, right? Because like the universe, it's the law of attraction, right? So I always tell people, they're like, oh, I don't have control. Yes, you do. You have all, how you decide to show up every single day is the biggest thing you can do to currently control your current situation, whatever your situation is, no matter how dark it could be.
Dude, I love that. You
Bars.
know what's interesting? Bars. Drop the mic. What's interesting about that? I was thinking about this as you were talking, and you answered the question. You talked about not coming from a place of lack. Like what I was thinking about is like coming from a place of lack, trying not to come from a place of lack when you don't have a certain thing, right? So like a scarcity mindset around money, saying that to someone who's like, well, I can't pay for rent, dude. So like, what do you want me to do? Or like I'm living on food stamps. But you kind of answered the question there, and maybe you can expand on it. But you like, rather than making that what you're focused on, it's okay. Yeah, live within your means the best you can, and yeah, it's gonna struggle, but be positive. Like find the good. That is how you switch to an abundance mindset. It's not about like, man, if like, oh, my bank account has $1 million right now and I'm going to live like it and it's great. No, you live within your means and it's going to be hard, but you focus on being positive within that. And like more's coming. The best is around the corner. I'd love to hear maybe your thoughts on that if you expand on it.
So say you are going through a really tough time financially, career-wise, whatever it may be, what can you control? You can control your attitude and your energy every day, just like, your outlook, being more positive, staying in abundance, not being in lack. Right? You can control the food you consume. You can control what you do on your phone or don't do on your phone. You can control if you can go on a run. Even if you can't afford a gym membership, you can go on a run. You can go to a park and do pull-ups and push-ups. And so what you can control, right? Focus on what you can control. That's your body. That's your mind. And that's getting clear. That's finding some sort of faith, whether that's faith, as in a higher power, or faith in something, faith that it's all going to work out, right? You got to have some sort of North Star, and then get clear, right? Whether it's journaling, meditation, and just what you consume. So, you just want to double down on staying in abundance, staying positive, and you're not going to have all the answers figured out. Like you're not going to know what to do, but I guarantee you, you get your mind clear, you get your body right, you drink your water, you get your sun, and you stay as positive as you can through all the BS, the wheels will start turning. Momentum will start, kicking in. You'll start having ideas and you'll start realizing all the answers are within myself. You'll stop being a victim and you'll be a victor, right? And then from there, the world is your oyster, okay? Now it's like, all right, I feel really good. I got my body right, my mind right. I'm able to talk to people. Now let's build skills. So you can build skills. You got ChatGPT, you got all the resources in the world to now get creative on, all right, maybe the old way of how I made money or what I thought of in the past isn't really what I want to do. Like there's other things that you can do. It's all within you, the ideas, and the breakthroughs that you can, get to, and the skills you can acquire, like I said, are all within you. And so first, get your health right, get your mind right, right? Get your habits in order. Get your positivity more positive. Get your positivity up, but start really focusing on the good stuff, because that's going to expand, and then from there things will become clear. But you're not going to know right away, right? Like it took me a while to kind of get to this point and figuring out, okay, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to help. This is why I'm here. Like that was an accumulation of my whole life, really, but of 3 years of self-development. So yeah, just start with the body. I mean, start with the body, right? And the mind.
I love that because it's very practical. It's like
Yeah.
start with the body, get in shape, go to the
Get
gym,
straight
work
first, right.
out.
Get in
Just
shape,
move.
get
Yeah.
healthy,
Break a
healthy,
sweat and
get
then
sober, start sweating, and then build skills. Build skills. Read books, pick up books, listen to podcasts, talk to everybody you meet. That is the man. I've met so many people and I have rubbed shoulders with so many folks just because I talk to people everywhere I go. I sometimes don't even go to the gym with headphones because I want to like see how many people can I talk to. And you can learn so much from just talking to other people. Like if you're down bad right now, make it a priority to get in good shape. And then you can talk to people before then too, but people do respect you more if you show up in shape and like exuberant. But just talk to people. Just go out and about and just talk to people. Ask them what they're up to. Don't talk about yourself. Ask them questions. Be genuinely curious and just ask them everyone likes to talk about themselves. So what do you do? Well, how did you do that? And that's really cool. Who knows? They'll probably have an opportunity for you that could be really good. So
Mhm.
if I was down bad again, that's what I would do. I mean, I'm already in good shape, but I get in really good shape. I'd get a schedule for the morning. I have a routine for my days. I'd time block my days. I wouldn't be on social media. I'd be always reading a book, listening to a podcast, and then I would purposefully go work at like coffee shops or different places where I'd be trying to do my stuff, learn more about certain things, and then I would try to talk to as many people as possible. And from there, I know that I'd be able to find some sort of opportunity for sales or whatever it may be. And then I'd be learning those skills to where I could like eventually maybe even make money on my own.
That's so awesome, and that's like a very practical roadmap for somebody. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, totally
Um,
cool.
when someone comes to you, like a client, and they say, "Hey, I want to get in shape," and you say, "All right, we're gonna go through a transformation." What's usually the biggest revelation for them in realizing this isn't just about like me having less body fat, right? Like, what do you mean by transformation, and how do you help them connect the dots on, hey, we're doing more than just like going running and lifting weights and doing things. This is more than just that.
Yeah. So that's a broad question, but and it's different for every client. I always from the jump on all my calls and even with like the content I put out, people know that I'm about much more than just like lifting weights and eating the right food. So they already know when they get on the call that they're going to get challenged, mentally and on a identity habitual level. So I get it kind of clear, and most people are clear that like I want change. I'm not super
Mm.
happy in my current environment with how I feel on a day-to-day basis. So they're very open to the other aspects that need to happen to get it all online. But to answer your question, I first just get the food and the routine going, like eating better food. Again, this is so simple, it's so practical. Eat better whole foods, you know, get an idea for okay, how much am I eating right towards a goal? You don't have to track your macros, it's gonna be more efficient, but you can totally just eat 2, 3 meals, I mean not two, 3 to 4 meals a day of just basic whole food. So start getting your body right with the food you're putting into it, get your habits aligned and get you
Mm.
being consistent to specific habits and things you're showing up for yourself. And then they'll start realizing it's about so much more. Like it happens very quick, right? Where it's like, all right, my body's feeling better, my mind's feeling better, I'm eating better food. There's a lot more to this. Like there's this like whole internal dialogue that starts changing. So it kind of happens on its own if somebody just does what I tell them to do to answer your question, right? Like, but we start with the
Yeah.
basics. You got to start with the basics, and you can't overcomplicate it. That's why, like, all these try this diet, and oh, it's your hormones, it's this, it's that, like, it's all these things. This tea, like, it's just all a distraction from really
Yeah.
just the real root cause, which is like, let's just take care of yourself, get back to you.
Hmm. How did you learn all of this? Where did you got no, seriously, like how did
Good
you just
question.
did you just acquire it over time, YouTube, like read, like what, how do you learn all this?
Mentors,
Yeah.
being curious, talking to everybody I know since I was literally joined the gym. I went up to the biggest dude in the gym and I asked him, "Hey man, like, what does that exercise work?" and I befriended him. And then now he showed me all these exercises. He could tell I was hungry, and I was like, "Oh yeah, how does that work?" He just helped me out, and I was like, "Boom, okay, now I know how to work out better." I eventually got certified, through NASM and stuff. Which honestly, I already knew more from asking people stuff before
Yeah.
even when I finished that.
Yeah.
But man, asking people stuff, um, listening to podcasts, reading books, and then just surrounding myself with good mentors. Right, I've had
Mm.
4 different business mentors that have filled my mind with all of these, other ideas and frameworks and just pieces of knowledge that I've adopted, but also going through it. Like you got to first go through it and be the beacon. So I've been through all this stuff. I've practiced all the stuff I talk about firsthand. And so you've got to do it to really be able to talk about it, right? Because people know if you're faking it. The conviction isn't there. Like people can tell nowadays the real from the fake so easy. They're like, oh, that dude's been through it. He with the stuff he's saying, it sounds like that's firsthand experience. Whereas like other people that are just like they're wearing a mask essentially. But yeah, just being a sponge, like
Soaking
listening
it
to
up,
what
man.
people said, like yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just doing it for a long time and
Awareness,
acquiring.
awareness, right? You're becoming more aware. This is something, so many people are just kind of going through life with their blinders on, just in their current reality. You have to have a curiosity that you want to learn more and that you want to increase your awareness, right?
Mm.
So it's like being hyper aware of like what other people are saying, what other people are doing, your interactions. Like the biggest breakthroughs in life will come through in the simplest moments. Anyone listening, write that one down. Like they talk about that one in Think and Grow Rich. Some of your biggest breakthroughs will happen in simple interactions or things you hear or things you just observe, and then it'll draw two lines, and you'd be like, whoa. So anyway, you got to be
Yeah.
aware. And that wouldn't happen if you're not aware, right? So many people, they're eating shit food. They're drunk half the week. They're half awake because their sleep is terrible. Then they're scrolling their phone. The minute they're bored, they don't have any time to be aware, to be curious, to see these lines being made. So that's where it's
Mm.
like you got to get your health in order and your mind right to then, open room for awareness, for curiosity. And yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up.
Oh, that's so great, man. Really. What would you say was the most impactful habit you implemented? Like a specific habit, like I woke up every day at 5 a.m. or whatever it was. Like if you could look back, what was the most impactful habit that you were like, I'm really glad I did that super consistently? I mean, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
every phase that I've been through has like I think a different habit. Like recently, a massively impactful habit has been meditation. So actually, when we first met, right out in Paris, that's when I first started really taking meditation seriously. Because I went to Nick Comedina. If anyone's listening, you got to go follow that guy. He's one of my mentors. I've gotten so much sauce from him. He's tapped in on another level. But I went to one of his retreats or workshops, and he challenged me. And he's like, it's weak that you can't meditate. Like you just can't control your mind. So anyway, I started getting into meditation recently, and that's really impacted just like how I handle my energy, my focus, how I'm able to
Mm.
get so much done and stay clear headed. Like I've never been busier, but been more clear headed and felt like time's gone slower because meditation just makes you, unfuckable essentially. Like you're just able to handle things better and like be a little more clear headed, and handle things and know your vision more. But to take it back, the one thing that had the biggest impact was when I turned 25. And this is if you're somebody who's just getting going, trying to catch your groove, start waking up at 5 a.m. So I made a commitment to myself at 25 years old, right, to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day and hit the gym, first thing, right? Not every day at the gym, but every day at 5 a.m. and not drink alcohol. So that was like the big shift. And that was like, yeah, don't drink alcohol, wake up at 5 a.m., get 2, 3 more hours to your day, get your workout done early. And that had a huge impact in 2020. I did that, right? And so if there was one thing I could do again, if I was really struggling, I'd wake up at 5 a.m. every day. And I wake up pretty early. I'm getting back. I'm back at 6 a.m. So I want to actually get back to waking up at 5 a.m. somewhere along the line in like 2023, 2024. I started having more success and whatnot. And I'm like, I can sleep in a little bit. I get everything done within my day. But yeah, man, wake up at 5 a.m., get a clear morning routine where you're drinking water, right? Where you're hyping yourself up, getting your frequency high, whether it's prayer, meditation, journaling, reading, something like that, where you're filling up your cup, getting clear on your day. Boom, go to the gym, get some carbs in your body, right? You can go to the gym after that, crush your workout, come back 7:30, right? You got your whole day, have a clear to-do list. That's the one biggest thing if you're struggling that can change everything. And then get to bed early too, like don't stay up late
Yeah.
doing dumb stuff.
Yeah. Dude, I 100% echo that. So that's actually what I'm doing right now in my new role, this new job, because it's, I work during the day. Dude, I'm up 4:30. I'm out the door by 4:45. It's a 30-minute commute, so I'm at the gym 5:15 and just roll. Like pre-workout on the way, hit the gym, let's go. I shower at like 6:45, 7. Best feeling in the world, dude. It is the best, most euphoric feeling in the world to be done on top of your day. You're not behind. You feel good. You're like, let's go. Like, I'm ready. Dude, you're 100% right.
Endorphins. And it's momentum, it's structure, right? Like too many times people give themselves too much time to think. Or, I feel this, I'm not going to do this. You just go. Have a set schedule and just go. Operate, get it done. I recently heard something on motivation that I really like that I want to share. It's important to understand motivation. People think that it's just going to come to them, right? Like, oh, but I don't have motivation yet. I can't. Where do you get the motivation? And people think that you get the feeling before the action when it is opposite, right? Like feelings always come after actions. And so it's important to understand with motivation, yeah, waking up at 5 a.m. is going to suck. It still sucks for me. I'm able to understand that this is what it is to get the feeling, but the action comes first and then the feeling. So if you're always waiting for motivation to come, it's never going to come, right? That's why you need to take action first. And after you take the action, you get the motivation. And waking up at 5 a.m. is a perfect example of that because you wake up, you don't feel that good. You're half asleep. You're like, oh, I'm a little groggy, yada, yada, whatever. You're not feeling good. You're not motivated when you wake up at 5 a.m. Maybe some mornings, you got a little extra, craziness in your blood like me. But like for the most part, I'm not that motivated. But after you hit the gym, after you shower, it's 7:30. Oof, you feel some of the most motivation you've ever felt in the world to attack your day, get it done, whatever it may be. So just remember with motivation, stop searching for it, start taking action, and then the motivation will come.
That's awesome, man. What's one thing you want to leave with people? Like what's one thing, if you said nothing else this whole podcast, you really want to leave people with?
Find your purpose and the rest will follow. It's super simple. And I genuinely, with my whole heart, believe that if people just found their purpose and did everything possible to find their purpose, and it's going to take time to find your purpose, figure out really what they're here to do on this earth and really get so unwavered behind it where they're convicted from the top of the mountain. They will yell it. This is what I'm here to do. This is why I'm good at it. Man, if you find your purpose, like the rest will follow. You'll have a very fun journey that you'll be on that will never be ending. So find your purpose and the rest will follow. That's what I'll leave you guys with today.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Man, I appreciate your time, bro.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime. It's great to catch up with you. And yeah, anyone that's listening, I hope that this helped in some sort of way. You left some sort of knowledge in front of you. Write it down, consume it. Go follow me at _ Josh Friedman on Instagram, TikTok, friedman.fit. And yeah, shoot me a DM if you liked the conversation that Kyle and I had, and happy to give you some free games, some sauce, some knowledge, or send you over some guides on nutrition or whatever it may be. Just like I'm here to help. I'm here to be of service, and so I'm always talking with people in my DMs and just helping out for free because that's what I'm here to do.
Oh, 100%. I can vouch for Josh. He is the real deal. He knows his stuff. He cares about his
too.
I appreciate it.
That's why they're listening. They're listening because of you.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Um,
Man.
no, this has been great, man. I really appreciate it. So thank you guys for tuning in, watching, listening. Hit Josh up, follow him, shoot him a DM, shoot me a DM if you have any questions. And as always, keep moving forward.